When talking about Murano, people believe it's referred to a brand or a name of a dynasty famous for the production of glass. It is instead an island in the Venetian lagoon where for more than 700 years incandescent masses have been transformed into works of art. But why do we talk about Murano glass and not Venice glass? And why has the Serenissima entrusted it with the most important production in its entire history? Let's find out. Made of 9 islets, it is crossed by its own Grand Canal and shares the same origins as Venice. It was founded by the fugitives of the Roman colonies during the barbarian invasions of the late 5th century that brought with them into the lagoon the ability to work glass. At the time, however, Muranium was none other than the area that included Sant Erasmo, the Vignole, St. Christopher and St. Michael, with its own government, where the main trades were fishing, hunting, watermills, and salt trade. Life took place around the wonderful Basilica of San Donato, founded in the 7th century in Venetian Byzantine style, and rebuilt in the 12th century to house the remains of the saints. Even today, the iconic apse with the arches and marble columns and the Ravenna-style facade that present stone materials from Altino recall the origins of this community. The wonderful mosaics, moreover, remind those of St. Mark's Basilica. At that time, the glass was mostly blown for the production of bottles. This is testified by a document of 982, drawn up by an ampoule maker. Over the centuries, they also specialized in everyday articles, so the production was expanded throughout the area, even in Murano, but not so much to become the main activity. In 1200, the island, which was ruled by the local mayor, came under the judiciary of the Republic of Venice, which was trying to protect with all its strength the flourishing glass industry of which it recognized the potential importance, so much so to prohibit the import and forbid to foreign workers to work within the city. The furnaces, however, operating with very high temperatures, were the main cause of a serious accident in a flourishing and populous city and, above all, built in wood. That's why, in 1291, the decision was taken, with the edict promulgated by Doge Tiepolo, to transfer all the glassworks to Murano. The proximity and size of the island to the city also facilitated checks on the secrets of such an important production. The masters and blowers moved with their families to a sort of golden cage, since the category was very protected by the Golden Book, established in 1602, which allowed only its members to work in the glassworks, participate in the councils, carry the swords, as well as enjoy immunity from prosecution, and allowed their daughters to marry the Venetian nobles. All these privileges made families very jealous of their secrets, which were passed on from generation to generation. On the other hand, the rules were very strict. The glassmakers were precluded from leaving the city without permission, otherwise, on their return, they would have been banned by the corporation and would no longer work on the glass. They were forbidden to move abroad under penalty of imprisonment of their family members or even death. Such was the consideration that the Republic had of the island that once a year it was given the opportunity to mint its own celebratory coin that was given as a gift to the highest offices of the government and to the magistrates. In the 15th century, thanks to the great glassmaster Angelo Barovier, the technique was perfected until it came to one of the most important scientific discoveries of the time, the Venetian crystal, a completely transparent glass. This allowed to associate the production of everyday items such as drinking glasses, the famous circular glasses that can still be seen on the windows of buildings, the famous Islamic lamps, and luxury products exported throughout Europe, such as the mirror, which allowed with its reflection a lower use of candles, as well as being a habit for all the nobles of Europe. We must not forget that on August 24, 1609, from the bell tower of St. Mark's, Galileo Galilei showed to the Doge Leonardo Donat the prototype of the telescope that mounted lenses produced, in fact, in Murano, with an ability to enlarge that no one in Europe could match. This brilliant invention was an excellent ally of the Venetian navy. In the 1500s and 1600s, while the famous blown glass chandeliers were making their appearance on the market, the glassmasters and blowers began to immigrate, attracted by the lavish earnings that could be made in several European kingdoms. Towards the end of the century, the Bohemian-led crystal glass made its appearance on the European market, and then became a strong competitor in the 19th century, when Venice, under the Habsburg occupation, suffered its boycott through the huge duties imposed on the import of raw material. The inhabitants of the island did not give up. The processing of chandeliers and mirrors remained for centuries a cornerstone of the island's economy, and from the 1900s they tried to cope with the crisis, now centenary, by focusing on artistic and luxury production, returning in vogue in the European market. Nowadays, the island is facing a series of challenges: the invasion of counterfeit glass, the shortage of skilled labor, the pandemic with the consequent crisis of tourism, and last, the dizzying increase in the price of gas, is bringing to its knees several historical realities, which over the years, combining the tradition of ancestors with innovation and talent, is trying to carry on this art. Did you like this first part? Do not miss the next one, where I will talk about the different professional figures related to glass and different processes.